Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan. I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and also the in-depth analysis of the trending editorials and articles from the Hindu newspaper. And this video is in regards to how to crack prelims and mains, focusing on the keywords, key phrases and also factual and analytical point of view, which will be very useful for prelims as well as mains examination. And prior to that, you have a notification which is in regards to Let's Crack UPSC CS English, which is India's largest learning platform. Upon subscription, you will have unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. And the privileges you have is that you will have daily live classes, live tests and quizzes, structured courses, and unlimited access. And these are the top educators at Unacademy, which you can have a glance at in your screen. And also the other screen also you can see the top educators at Unacademy. And these are the courses for Let's Crack UPSC CS English, which you can see it. So like UPSC CSE batches, geography, current affairs. And also you have another screen in regards to Let's Crack UPSC CS English, which you have the courses HF writing, internal security, CSAT papers and the rest, which you can also see it on the screen. And you have the subscription, Let's Crack UPSC CSE English subscription, 12 months and 24 months, wherein 12 months is you will have it for 40,000 the original price, and 24 months is for 48,000. So it's always better recommended that you go ahead with 24 month subscription, which the original price is 48,000 for Let's Crack UPSC CSE English subscription. Use my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, and you will get 10% discount on the original price, that is 48,000, and the discounted price would be 43,200. And it's always better to go ahead with subscribing for 24 months, because the main reason is you are effectively paying only for the 13 months, but you would get the subscription for the 24 months. So take the benefit, take the opportunity, and then subscribe for 24 months, which will be useful for you in regards to the civil services preparation, wherein 2 years solid preparation is required for the civil services examination. So do take the advantage of just paying 13 months and getting the 24-month subscription using my code SBT10 Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, wherein you will be having a 10% discount, and the percentage or the discounted amount is 43,200. Do not make any delay. Go ahead with the subscription of 24 months. Now I will get into the topic, that is in regards to analysis of the Hindu newspaper, wherein I would be taking up daily one trending topics from the editorials and articles, which will be very useful for factual, analytical and also descriptive point of view from mains and also prelims point of view. So before I get into the topic, I would say a very big hi to everyone. Hi to Shubham Tripathi, Pratham, hi to Satya, hi to Shreyas. Very good morning to you all, and hi to everyone who is watching this. And this is the picture of what you have, that is, it is clearly depicts that we are talking about the food grains. We are talking, or we would be talking about the food grains. And definitely, it will be the food grains when we are talking, it is from the fields. From the fields, it will be getting into the market yard, and from market yard again it would be by the traders who would purchase it, and also from the governments, both from the traders and also from the government. From the government, when the government is purchasing from the farmers when they are getting from the fields to the market yard, and then there again the traders, and then again the government purchase. When the government is purchasing, the food grains are getting into the Food Corporation of India. That means it gets into the Food Corporation India, and then it is, what you say, stored. So definitely there is good amount of food grains, that is close to 55-60 million tons of food grains, which are with the government of India, lying in the food corporation, in the hands of the Food Corporation of India, in different godowns. Fine. So that means we are storing the food grains. Yes, we are storing the food grains, means That means we are self-sufficient. Now we are self-sufficient, and then the self-sufficiency of the food grains is because of the green revolution. As prior to the green revolution, we were actually getting pandemics. Yes, I will. And Janavi has also joined. Hi to you, Janavi, and hi to everyone who is uh, listening to this class. So now I'll get in the topic, that is the article which talks about the grain stockist. So the stockist, or the one who is stocking the grain, who is, what do you say, making sure that the entire grain is put at one place. They are stocking it, and still that stockist is with a role, and that role is still relevant. Please do understand, the stockist, that is, who is the stockist here? The FCI. The FTI is definitely with a role, and that role is still a relevant role. That is what the article is talking about. And in the middle of the pandemic, the FCI holds the key to warding off a looming crisis of hunger and starvation. So FCI is definitely, as we were talking about, the self-sufficiency. India is self-sufficient now, and then because of that self-sufficiency at the time of COVID-19 pandemic situation, FCI is able to handle the crisis of hunger and starvation very effectively. Hunger and starvation, and that is the role of the FCI. And this looming crisis of hunger and starvation because of the COVID-19 is very effectively handled by the FCI. Yes, definitely there are few reasons or few concerns or fingers raised at the functioning or the maintaining of the food grains by the FCI. Please do understand, there are definitely concerns, challenges, fingers raised at FCI in regards to how they have handled or managed the food grains. Whether the food grains here in the FCI's food grains, or they are all protected, or they are rotten, or they are eaten by rats, all that we'll be looking into it. But at the time of pandemic situation, yes, definitely it has warding off, or it has added a kind of situation wherein it is really handled the hunger and starvation because of the national lockdown. Because of the COVID-19 or because of the national lockdown, we have FCI has done its role very relevance is there, still relevant, still it is relevant. That is what the concern is. And Malvika Sajivan has joined. Hi to you, Malvika. Relevance of Food Security Act. Yeah, it is a question mark. That is what we will look at it. How it has handled it, and whether there are concerns, challenges, what are the ways forward, and then how the fingers have been raised by various people or various organizations also. Now we'll get into the topic. So, a grain stockist. So we will look at the FCI, and the FCI has been set up under the Food Corporation Act 1964. So under the Food Corporation Act 1964, the FCI is been set up. Janavi says recently FCI has released food grains for states like Bihar. Yes. Odisha to deal with food shortages. Definitely. That is what the role of FCI during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Does it still have relevance? Yes, it does have still relevance. Nevertheless, it has some concerns, challenges which it is facing, but there is more of relevance which is taken into consideration. So if you look at when it has been set up by the Food Corporation of Act 1964. So when Food Corporation of India was set up in the first decades, it was at the forefront of India's quest for self-sufficiency. This is what I was talking about. Self-sufficiency in rice and wheat. Why? Because of the green revolution, what I was spoken about. And it has also not only gone ahead with making sure that it has stored or it has collected the rice and wheat food grains because of the output of the green revolution. But managing procurement is also very important. Procurement and stocking of grains has also been done effectively, and that procurement and stocking of grains has been distributed to each and every or below poverty line people through the PDS system by the fair price, that is ration shops, to the ration shops, fair price shops or ration shops. So definitely, right from the first decade, that is 1964 to 1974, that period, still the FCI has gone ahead with taking the importance of self-sufficiency when storing and also procuring and storing the grains and then distributing it via or through public distribution system. And we have seen in the 19th and 18th there was poor storage condition. What is important is when we are self-sufficient, what is the foremost important is that we need to have the storage capacity. We need to increase the storage capacity, but at the initial stage the storage capacity was not up to the mark, or it was a poor storage capacity. That means lot of the grain was lost to pests, rats, or diversion of grain was widespread, promoting a former chairman to declare that there was problem with the human rats. Please do understand here. So at the initial stages, when because of the green revolution, when we had enough of grains or when we are self-sufficient, what is important is that the Food Corporation of India has taken the responsibility for procuring and stocking the grain. But what is important is we were not having that very good or sufficient storage conditions. So we had the very minimal storage conditions, and because of the minimal storage conditions, it was stored openly, and that was destroyed by the pests or mainly rats, and also you call it as human rights also. That means there was a lot of corruption which has also taken into consideration also. Okay, Pratham says the challenge to PDS from private players and corruption. That is what. When we are talking about human rights, it is corruption. Human rats, not rights. Human rats. That is corruption. So that means the stock is there. You have filed the stock. Fine. Or I'll show you this picture. You have filed the stock here. If you look at, fine, and you have also considered or you have also taken into consideration that you have gone ahead with pest control, and then you have effectively handled the rats not to enter into the FCI. But still you have handled, I mean, then they have handled effectively the rats not to eat the food grains, but still the food grains were being slowly moved out of it, or they were lost. Food grains were lost. Why? Because of the human rats. When we are talking about human rats, when all the food grains, when it was lost, for example from these bags, fully loaded one, that means definitely there is corruption which is into action, which is taking place, and that is very well taken into consideration by few of the people, that there is corruption in the FCI, and that was the concern raised. Dealers of PDS do black marketing of grains. Yes, earlier it was, but now little bit it has come down. Satya, earlier what you are saying is definitely it was at a rampant it was, but now slowly it is coming down. Slowly it is coming down. Pratham says lack of awareness about PDS services among target groups. Yes, target groups they have, okay, but they do not know, as you said, the lack of awareness in regards to what is being provided by the PDS and how much is provided. What is that lack of awareness is what and how much. When I'm saying what is, whether the number of items, what items are being provided by the PDS system, the target group, that is the beneficiary, is unaware of it, or else how much in the sense what is the quantity, whether the quantity is increased by the government, state governments or the central government. Fine. So even that the target group or the below poverty line people are unaware of it. That is why the stock has been, again, as Satya was talking about black marketing, it has taken place in the past, but probably now it has reduced, at least in urban cities. I'm not sure about what is how it goes on in the villages, but most of the time, I mean, mostly across India, awareness has taken place more about, as Pratham was saying, lack of awareness then, but now awareness is also into existence now. And in the late 1990s, FCI was often referred to as not Food Corporation of India, but Food Corruption of India. Look at it, the way the FCI has actually turned, or it has changed itself because of the corruption, human rats, because of the human rats. The FCI was oftenly referred as not Food Corporation of India, but Food Corruption of India. And over time, many began to see it as a huge monstrous creature. Behemoth means a huge or a monstrous creature that has a long outlived in its purpose. Its operations were regarded as expensive, inefficient, and it has come to be accepted as a fact. So they have looked at FCI as the Food Corruption of India, and they have looked at it as an expensive and also inefficient. Please to understand here, I started with saying that it is relevant and it has done a very good job. I'm saying it has done a very good job because at the time of COVID-19, the way the migrant workers, vulnerable economic group, all below poverty line, they required, because of the national lockdown, because of no livelihood, they are in need of food grains through the PDS system, and then the FCI, whatever it has been collected, has been effectively used by the government and the administration through the PDS system, reaching it to the targeted group. But as we have seen it in the 1990s, there were challenges, as FCI was termed oftenly as Food Corruption of India. Not only that, they have looked at it as an expensive and inefficient an organization, and as a monstrous creature, monstrous, I mean, it's a monstrous in the sense huge creature, wherein it was actually not feeding the people, but it was feeding itself, and it has become such a huge and monstrous, and it has become a Food Corruption of India. But we will look at the other side of it also. So I have taken the, what do you say, how it has actually come into existence 1964, what the kind of notion was in 1970. See, look at it, we have gone it very systematically, chronological. 1964s in the first decade, 1970s, 1980s, what the poor storage condition, again in 1990s what the situation was, and again 2000 when we are talking about the FCIs, again the human rights were definitely into picture. But looking at the, what you say, 2020, the situation has changed very drastically and it has really improved, and then made it that it has handled the COVID-19 situation very effectively. So I think you are understanding better how we are trying to link right from its inception, or when it has started, through the Food Corporation of India Act 1964. And then we look at the next point. Why it is better placed? Why, that means whether it is relevant. See, we have looked at Food Corruption of India, expensive, inefficient, monstrous creature, all that. But still, I'm saying it is better place. Why it is better place? We will look at. And Pratham says, incomplacent and unemphatic behavior of PDF shop operators have also contributed to operation of target groups in terms of supply. Yes, that is all happened. Yes, absolutely, that is all which has happened. Now we will look at why it is better placed. Even though we have seen, as FCI as Food Corruption of India, expensive, inefficient, monstrous creature, all this, in spite of that, FCI has consistently maintained PDS. That is very important, and PDS is a lifeline for vulnerable millions across the country, and that is what is really, what you say, FCI is not a Food Corruption of India, but Food Corporation of India through the PDS system, from the FCI through the PDS system, it has been reaching to the many vulnerable economic group or below poverty line people, wherein PDS is the lifeline of all these millions of vulnerable economic group or below poverty line. That is why it is still having its relevance. I think you're all getting it. Janavi, Pratham, Malvika Sajivan, Satya, Shubham Tripathi, are you all there? Are you all getting the point what I'm saying? Please respond. And the FCI holds the key to warding off looming crisis. So it holds the key to warding off, to let off the looming crisis. So what crisis we are going at? That is hunger and starvation of this. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, Shreyas also, Janavi also. And then especially during what you say the COVID-19, the migrant workers, because of the national lockdown, they have been moving from what do you say, thousands of kilometers, hundreds of thousands of kilometers. They're wanting to get into the respective states and the villages, and they are in the need of money and food also. And then FCI has definitely helped the lifeline for the life. I mean, for the vulnerable people through the PDS system, and then they have supplied this in terms of Pratham says that in terms of public sector undertaking. Can we say FCI has succeeded over time based on success of Green Revolution? And then Arun otherwise joined. Arun, very good morning to you, Arun. Yeah, definitely there is a success in FCI, and because of the Green Revolution, and also in regards to the kind of mechanism which is in place now by the governments in regards to protecting the food grains is very important. Self sufficiency is now we are understanding the importance of self sufficiency during the COVID-19 situation, when the entire country on the globe, in regards to India, when the entire country is under lockdown, how it is able to feed the vulnerable or the migrant workers is very important. Arun, I cannot teach in Hindi, Arun Yadav. I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I'll try to what you say wherever it is keywords and all that I'll emphasize, and I will make a point that you will understand it. But I'm extremely sorry because I cannot teach in Hindi. Extremely sorry. I think Arun Yadav, you have got the point. I will go ahead with it because this is also UPSC CSE English, and I am more focusing on the what you say English itself, and I cannot teach in Hindi. I don't know. I mean, my explanation will not be impressive in Hindi. Please do understand. Pratham says, how can we link the bottom up approach with FCI? Is it relevant in current times? Yes, it is relevant. We will look at it. And before the lockdown, we have seen many experts have observed that 77 million tons of grains are there in the FCIs, and that is right. And all that is because of the procurement by the FCIs, that is the government. I mean, through the government in through the FCIs, and because we have seen the bumper crops or bumper harvest of the wheat, and we could also see because of the bumper harvest, the FCI was facing a serious storage capacity or storage problem. So definitely there is a point that the self-sufficiency is attaining because of the green revolution, and it is not just because of the storage of modern storage facilities, but also because of the FCI's lacked proactive liquidation process. So proactive liquidation process is also very important for excess stocks. So what is important is whatever stock is there, they have to make it sure that it is not what do you say lying in the FCI godowns, but it has to be given it, or it has to be supplied. It has to be supplied to. It has to be supplied to the vulnerable sections, or else the quantity, as I was talking about, the quantity can be increased. But what is important is if the quantity is increased, and all of a sudden if this kind of pandemic like situation arises, and then if we are not in a position of self sufficiency, again that will be a cause of concern. and this concern all but disappeared. Why? Because it is only temporary. And what is important is it will be called for opening of godowns to release food stocks to those after lockdown, and that is very important. And now what we are talking about, the storage capacity is not up to the mark, or we are lacking the storage capacity. Yes, definitely once the what is a national lockdown is lifted out, and then everybody will come and then make sure that they will go ahead with taking their respective rationing in regards to the food grains, and then slowly we can see that the release of food stocks will take place. And as of Shreyas says that if we FCI is facing storage problem, it can be exported. Okay, rather than, yes, it can, I mean it can, and it at times it is also exporting. But what is important is, rather than focusing more on exports, as India is what you say second largest population in India, and then we have many of them who are migrant workers or vulnerable sections or below poverty line. What is important is we should increase our storage capacity. That is the best method. The first and foremost is increase the storage capacity first and foremost, and still then we can go ahead with the exporting, as Shreyas was talking about. Yes, we can. How does the proactive liquidity policy of FCI affect the commodity market prices? So commodity prices is definitely, when we are going ahead with the liquidity policy, active liquidity policy of FCI, when we go ahead, then the open market, when we are talking about open market, when we look at the food grains in the open market, the prices are very high. So when the government is, or else FCI is going ahead with the liquidity policy, or effective or active liquidity policy by the FCI, then we can make sure that even in the open market the prices will be as equivalent to the one which is as per the rationing system itself. Okay, here the point is, for not the quality, I mean not the quantity, but quality is important, because when we talk about the open market, the quality of the food grains are comparatively better. So thereby we cannot totally go ahead with competing with the open market, but we can make sure that there is a better understanding, or better, what you say, the people, or else middle income group who are not, who are above the who are above the above the below poverty line, and who are in the middle income group, they can also afford the open market food grains. Inflation rate is constant. Constant is one of the main contribution of FCI. Inflation rate is constant, is one of the main contribution of FCI. Yes, yes, yes. Bharatwaj joined. Good morning, Bharatwaj. Sir, in order to remove corruption in FCI, we can start monitoring. Yes, yes, yes. Monitoring, as much as the FCI at local levels are not working as per their efficiency. Absolutely. Say, when we are talking about FCIs, even the panchayats also should come into existence. The district levels, panchayat, and the states have to work together. Local level, that is panchayat, district level, and also state level, there has to be a clear monitoring system, wherein we have to consider that the corruption is totally weeded out. Not only rats and rot, what do you say, the pests are being out from the FCI godowns, but also the corruption, or else corruption should be totally taken out, or it should be moved out through the proper scientific practical monitoring system, as very well said by Bharatwaj. As very well said. And we have seen this in April, because I mean during this post lockdown, we have seen the FCI has sent, or it has forwarded the food grains to Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, as I think Janavi was saying. Yeah, Janavi was saying about the food grains were sent to different states, that is Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and Karnataka, and those, and also those in the states in the northeast. So the FCI has definitely done its job at the time of, what you say, lockdown, or during the post COVID-19 pandemic situation. Post COVID-19 pandemic situation, and it has also enabled purchase by states and non-government organizations directly from the FCI depot. So what is important is not only sending it, but it is also enabling purchase. So you were asking about liquid policy of FCI. So this is also one of it, Pratham. FCI has enabled purchases by the states and non-governmental organizations directly from the FCI depots during the e-auction typically conducted for the open market sale scheme. So this, I think, Pratham, you are getting it. Can we say that the difference in quality in open market and FCI has deepened the mortality and the vulnerability of the poor to silent epidemics? Not really, not really. But if you look at, see, when we are talking about the quality, when we are talking about the quality, it is just the, what you say, when we are looking at as a finished goods, when we are looking at it as a finished goods compared with the open market. But actually whatever is in the open market, it is, what do you say, in the mills, it is totally grained out, or else the fiber is gone, the rich proteins are gone, and what the, what do you say, the rich people or middle income or upper middle income people look at the only the quality. When I'm talking about the quality, it is the appearance. Please do understand, Pratham, I'm talking about the appearance. Appearance do matter. That is what it is happening. But if you look at the quality, when you are stressing on it, yes, it is the quality actually in regards to the appearance. Actually in regards to the appearance, and that is making a difference in regards to why people are not going ahead with. If you look at the midday meal scheme, from where does the entire food grains come? It is from the government FCI itself or PDS system itself. Fine. So there we talk about the nutritious meal. Yes, the grains, the food, rice, wheat, all that are, what is grown, and those carries the protein rich, and then nutritional or micronutrients are available there. But when we are talking about the quality, we are just talking about the kind of finished goods. Please do understand, finished goods, that is the appearance. Sir, one of the main problem what Bharatwaj says is that basket of FCI is very limited. That is what, see, in the couple of days back I was talking about, MS Swaminathan was talking about increasing the food basket, increasing the food basket, increasing. MS Swaminathan has written an article just 2 or 3 days back, I suppose. I have discussed that what is important in regards to the food, in regards to the nutrition, and in regards to the livelihood security. Livelihood security. So in regards to the nutrition, we have to increase the food basket. How does we increase the food basket? That is in regards to, yeah, branding is very important. That is what is making the difference. Pratham, you are absolutely right. And in regards to what Bharatwaj is talking about is that it is in regards to the food basket has to be increased. When we are talking about the food basket, that means the food grains which are in the basket have to be the food grains which are having more of nutritional value. The food grains, the increase in the food grain means the food grains in the food basket means that the food grains should have more of nutritional values, and that is what is important. When MS Swaminathan was also talking about increase in the food grain capacity, and that is what Ambaresh was also saying. One of the main problem is the food basket of the FCI is very limited. They have focused on macronutrients, not on the micronutrients. Yes, absolutely, which is the result poverty and hunger size increases. Absolutely. Amresh, Bharatwaj and Pratham, can I know that have you given an prelims attempt how many times? How many times you have given an attempt prelims or mains earlier itself, both Bharatwaj and Pratham? See, it doesn't mean that I'm not asking to Shreyas. I'm not asking to, what do you say, Arun, or it's not that I'm not asking to Shreyas, Satya, Janavi. It's not that way. And just or Malvika or not even to Malvika. It's not that I'm not asking them, but not one time, sir. Okay, is it first time? 2020 could be the first time. And the Rabi procurement underway in many states. It seems that the country will secure ample food now, because now we had the recently also we had a very good. Okay, 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 very good. But I'm absolutely, what do you say, overwhelmed. I'm absolutely overwhelmed the way the discussion or the interaction is going ahead in this class by everyone. Everyone, I'm saying everyone. That is Shubham, Satya, Shreyas, Janavi, Malvika, Pratham, and then Shreyas, Arun Yadav, and then now Bharadwaj. Everyone, I'm saying it is excellent. It is bang on target for the civil services preparation. That is what I can say it. We are absolutely going. We are. I mean, you're all on track. You're all on track. Once you give, you will definitely clear prelims and mains, no doubt about it. And then, given the extended lockdown, the FCI is uniquely positioned now because of the grain across state borders, where private sector players will continue to face formidable challenge because the private players now look at the what do you say private sector players are definitely having challenges in regards to because of the national lockdown or because of maintaining the social distancing. Now because of this, FCI has more advantage and it is uniquely positioned that it will go ahead with more of supplying of the food grains to the states through the PDS system to the vulnerable sections. And with passenger rail and road traffic suspended, grain can move quickly without bottlenecks. That is again very important or positive for the FCI to supply its food grains to the various states. But there is something which is a clause. But yet there is a widespread sense. But in spite of all this plus or positive thing about FCI, what they have spoken now, there is still a widespread sense that FCI is simply not moving fast enough. What is the negative is that this one, that FCI is not simply not moving fast enough and could not do much more. So we will look at it. What is that? We will look at it. First, why there is a sense, widespread sense that the FCI is simply not moving fast enough and it could do much more better. Why? Because the first thing is FCI is just relying on rail, which has several advantages over road transport. Fine. And in 2019-20, we can see only 24% of the grain has moved by road. That means FCI focuses on rail transit rather than road. That is what the one of the concern. How are the commodity losses during transport and storage being counted in recent times? How are the commodity losses during transport and storage being counted in recent times? Are you talking about for the FCI or the private sector players, Pratham? Amber, sir, one more thing is that we should also give more compensation to farmers which who grow different crops other than wheat, rice. Okay, we need a diversification in our agriculture sector with infusing technology. Yes, absolutely said. And that is what we have this MSP for different food grains or different what do you say food grains. We have different MSP which is rated. And what you are saying is compensation. Yes, MSP is different and compensation. Compensation, are you talking about in regards to while the government is procuring it, or are you talking about whenever there is a natural calamity? I did not get the point. FCI in comparison with private players, what are the difference? See, FCI definitely takes ahead whatever it is. See, even if it is a low quality or low class also, it will go ahead. Okay, you're talking of both the cases. Yes, both the cases. Ambaresh, as you said, procuring and also in regards to national calamity, the compensation has to be looked into depending upon the losses what the farmers do incur. Yes, definitely. And in regards to the Pratham, FCI in comparison with private players, what are the difference? So definitely see private players itself, that means they would be only for the profit oriented. But FCI, they keep the stock for what do you say? It could be for half a decade or decade, but the godowns are full. In the market, it is not being sold. It is not been again encashed, but still they are going at for the people, public. That is for the vulnerable section of the people. That is for the migrant workers or the below poverty line. So they are worried about FCI, that is the Government of India or the Food Corporation of India Act 1964 is worried about the storage self-sufficiency because it wanted to make sure that the sale is not important or else just pushing because it is excess in the FCI is not the immediate or not the entire what do you say, the kind of notion, or it has to be taken into consideration. But what is important is commodity does loses. Yes, see, there is always a kind of what do you say, a leakage system which do take place. There is a leakage system, and that is also should be considered, and it is considered by both the center and also state. The leakages during the transport from the FCI godowns to the states is also taken into consideration. We should learn from Israel, sir, where they have limited land. Yes, in fact, they are. We go ahead with more of the technology what Israel has in regards to the agriculture technology. Especially, we go ahead with that because with a very limited water resources, they go ahead with more of production, yielding they got. And our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he has visited even Israel, when he has had a personal discussion with even Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israel's Prime Minister also, or President, they have made it clear that they would have discussions or the exchanges between the technology what Israel uses with a very limited water in regards to agriculture, and also how the salinity, the water, that is the ocean or the sea water salinity, can be again used it for desalination. Even that is also our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has what is it taken into consideration in the bilateral discussion. The one thing can be write these things in our mains. That is what it all depends upon what the question is asked, and then you are not deviating from it is very important. See, you all have more of knowledge, but how best you put in for what is required is very important. What is required is very important. So you need to know the question, and you need to also frame it as per the demand by the UPSC. Recent contribution by CSIR in agri field, how it has boosted our self-sufficiency. All the contribution by CSIR, or it could be even from the IACT, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, or in regards to the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, all this will definitely come into the existence, wherein they are boosting our self-sufficiency, because we come up with the various variety of food grains, pulses, and that will really make our production rate very high. So definitely CSIR in combination with IICT and then CCMB, that is Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, and then Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, is definitely helping the wide variety of rice or wheat or food grains pulses production is happening, and that is really boosting our self sufficiency. And the second one is in regards to the it is a predictable demand of staples from food insecure hotspots. So now whatever is in regards to the hotspots areas now decided by the COVID-19, there will be very food insecurity because of very less migrant workers would return to the places, and then there would be scarce of work. So one strategy is that they adopt the international food aid. So in that case, again we are talking about international food aid by the United States. For example, pre-positioning of shipments where grain is stored closer to demand hotspots. So look at this point again, you can put it in mains. What? In regards to the hotspots, because of the COVID-19, the FCI can adopt the what strategy? International food aid strategy. Strategy of the FCI can use the strategy of international food aid of USA of what? Pre-positioning. This is very important. Pre-positioning is very important. Pre-positioning of the shipment, that is of the food grains, where grain is stored closer to demand hotspots. Look at the way the author is talking about, and we are getting definitely very valid points here. The pre-positioning of shipments, which is as per the international food aid taken up by the United States, that can be taken into consideration. And we also FCI already has the decentralized network godowns, and by this the government can use I mean, this can be used by the state governments and the FCI to maintain the stock at the block headquarters or panchayats, so that they can secure the food. So pre-positioning at the hotspots. Not only that, at the headquarters, district headquarters. Not only that, at the what do you say panchayat levels. So look at it. How FCI can come into action and then make sure that whichever areas are termed as hotspots or red or orange zones, the food grains can be still supplied by using the method of the strategy, that is international food aid, by the concept called as pre-positioning shipments. Pre-positioning shipments, and that can be stored or maintained at the block headquarters panchayats. Uh, Pratham says recent contribution by CSR. Yes. Bharat was say N95 had given us a big reason to do so. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And this kind of strategy would allow the government to respond rapidly. This is very important because a rapid response from the governments to assure the any kind of psychological comfort, assuring the psychological comfort to the vulnerable communities is very important by the state governments, and that can be done by the pre-positioning shipments by the FCIs. And the third one is a strong case for central government to look beyond PDS. So we were just talking about PDS now. Now we will look beyond PDS, and which is the strong case for the central government. So what is that? That is the central government which has come up with a scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. So apart from PDS, we will look at Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. And they can release the stocks over existing allocation, and then this can, rather than transferring the fiscal burden to the states. So not only through the what is a PDS system, but also it can be through the PDS system which can be reached to the district headquarters, it can be reached to the panchayats. But beyond PDS, we are looking at the central scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, wherein we can make sure that it is transferring the fiscal burden of the states, transferring the fiscal burdens to states, and then slowly it is in collaboration with the center and states. Please to understand, now both center and states have come together to handle the crisis. And what is the other one is also the feeding program is very important. What is the feeding program? That free distribution to vulnerable and marginalized section is very important at this juncture. That is why it is still having relevance. And that is through who are excluded. I mean, we know that there are vulnerable sections who do not have the ration card or the PDS, they are not part of the PDS system. So they can use the panchayat, freedom of panchayat system, or panchayat can go ahead with the feeding of the program by the free distribution who are not carrying the card or who are not included in the PDS system. And in many states there is a vibrant network of self-help groups. So now it is not only the PDS we were talking about, it is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, and along with that self-help groups. Look at how we are getting into self-help group formed under, and this self-help group is formed under the National Rural Livelihoods Mission. Look at it, you are getting many points in regards to prelims as well as mains point of view. So there could be a question not directly onto the FCI, but there would be a question on the PDS, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, self-help groups, or National Rural Livelihood Mission. And through this National Rural Livelihood Mission, the last mile distribution also can take place other than the PDS system. That means if we are not really focusing, or the one who is not involved or who are not part of PDS system, please do understand here why we are talking about is this, because the one who is not part of PDS system but still they will be getting the food grains, that is very important. And the fourth one is the FTI guidelines follows in first, that is first out, first in first out policy, FIFO. So this is the one which the the FCI go downs follow. That is first in, first out principle. That mandates the grain that has been procured earlier needs to be distributed first to ensure the older stocks are liquidated. As Pratham was talking about liquidated. So the FCI is into the mode of FIFO. That means it is that older stock will be first liquidated. That means it will be first sent into the market through the PDS system. And it is time that FCI suspend this strategy if it has not already. That enables movement that costs less time, money and effort. So definitely this is very important, that the fourth one is part of it. And the fifth one is that the farmers across the country are growing for markets. That is for the consumers directly. But in many places we have seen the farmer producers organizations, FPOs, have been at the forefront and rebuilding these broken supply chains. Now we are also looking at the farmers. We have looked at PDS, we have looked at Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, we have looked at again the National Rural Livelihood Mission, that is through the self-help groups, and now again by the farmers, which is through the Farmers Produce Organization or Farmers Producers Organization. Look at various things. Now self-help group added to that, now again Farmers Producers Organization. Not only that, FCI should also come along with the, not only this but also with the National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited, NAFED, or you can call it as NAFED also. It is National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation, FED, NAFED. So it should also, or it is also part of the NAFED, which will support the entire logistics to reach the PDS, to the PDS system. And NAFED has also taken initiative to procure, not only in regards to the FCI would go ahead with the procurement whenever there is a shortage, so it will also procure and transport the horticultural crops, not only the food grains but the horticultural. When it is we are talking about, NAFED is the one which is having its prominent role in procuring and transporting the horticultural crops. So FCI should also similarly consider the expanding of its route to support FPOs. So the FCI should also focus on the farmers, and then they should support, or the kind of food producers organization should support, and the farmers group also. Why? To make sure that they move. Mumtaz Ansari has joined, and a very good afternoon to you, Mumtaz. We are just at the fag end of our topic, that is in regards to the Food Corporation of India, its role and its relevance to move the wide range of commodities including the agriculture inputs, seeds and fertilizers and packing materials. So what I was talking about, Pratham, initially I was talking about the packing. I was talking of the appearance, how it is different from the FCI to the open market. I was talking about open market. So that is what now the FCI should expand its role of support to FPOs. Why? And the farmer groups. Why? Because we can go ahead with a wide range of commodities, which is including the agriculture inputs such as seeds, fertilizers and packing materials. This will create a more of appearance, what I was talking about. That is the kind of demand what the open markets has compared to the FCI products, as we were talking about it, Pratham, initially. And the challenges, we do have a challenges, and there are two major challenges. First is the long-term concern. What is that long-term concern? It is in regards to the cost of food subsidy. Cost of food subsidy. How much subsidy has to be given for the food grains is a very big question, because an analysis by the FCI costs, which was 2001 to 16, suggests that on average 60% of the cost of acquisition, procurement, distribution and carrying stocks in fact transfers to farmer. That means FCI goes ahead with, we were talking about procurement, not only procurement but in regards to the acquisition, procurement and also in regards to distribution, and then carrying the stocks, that is the transport, to various places. So all this what you have a cost on this. So you incur a cost on the uh, acquisition, in regards to acquisition, in regards to procurement, in regards to distribution, and then carrying the stocks, or in fact transfers to the farmers. So all this is a major concern, and this is the cost of the food subsidy. And therefore, when there what is counted in subsidy is that represents the waste of resources. Subsidy means it is a waste of resources, and even if distributional consequences and inefficiency leave a lot of desire. So definitely there are what you say wastages of resources, and then wastages of the inefficiencies also. And at the same time you have the second concern, that is extended food distribution. It is extended food distribution, and the first one was the cost in the food subsidy. The cost in the food subsidy was the first concern, and the second concern is in regards to the EFD, that is extended food distribution of subsidized grains. Is nothing but it is equivalent to dumping. It is dumping and depresses of food grains locally, in turn affecting the farmers. So you are dumping the food grains or the food prices, you are reducing or you are depressing the food prices, and that will impact the farmers, that is the farmers producers organizations, or farmers, or farmers groups, farmers group or farmers producers organization, it will impact. So this extended food distribution of subsidized grain is also a cause of concern from the FCI point of view. And what is the way forward is that there are legitimate concerns which perhaps only not beyond the looming emergency this summer, because there are concerns now because of the summer or because of the national lockdown we are able to overcome it, but after that there are legitimate concerns after the national lockdown, or once we overcome the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we are definitely in regards to facing a better legitimate concerns, and that can be resolved, and that can be resolved also. And once the what is the pandemic is over, questions will once again surface on the relevance of the FCI, and that is also a way forward, that we need to look at the role and relevance of FCI. So this could be the question: the role and relevance of FCI post COVID-19 pandemic in India. Discuss the role and relevance of FCI post COVID-19 pandemic situation in India. Discuss. Pratham, okay, can we implement some policy solutions of Taiwan in distribution and control of domestic products in distribution and protection of essential commodities? If yes, then how? Yes, definitely. See, we were talking about PDS system, and then we were talking about Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. We were talking about National Rural Livelihood Mission. We were talking about self-help group. Fine. We were talking about farmers, producers organizations. We were talking about NAFED. Fine. So when we can put all this into picture, wherein they could be part of, or there is proper coordination between all of them, and then when we are talking coordination between all of them, taking into consideration that each and every individual's capacity or intention is protected, and then again the coordination between the center and the state will definitely make sure that it will provide a better opportunity. It will provide a better opportunity, or a same kind of system what we have in regards to what China has gone ahead with, the procurement or else pandemic procurement policy kind of thing, which it has gone ahead, then it will be very very important and it is also help India in trying to in trying to have that distribution process which will be under the control of the essential commodities. I think Pratham you have understood it. We have, see, in India there are very good rules and regulations on paper. The only thing is we need to link it or we need to implement it in a right manner. That is only the concern. The rules and regulations are very good, but implementations are not up to the mark. And at the same time, relevance of the organizations such as FC or the public stockholding common to Asian countries has never been more strongly established than now. That means, see, as you are having the concern, Pratham, that there is a concern, and that slowly we are slowly, what do you say, increasing, or we are moving, or there is a strong establishment which is happening, and even we contemplate its new role in post-pandemic world. And what is the conclusion is, even in 2014 there is a report, that is Shanta Kumar report, which has recommended repurposing the organization as an agency for innovation in food management system. So what is the nutshell is, we have to go ahead with food management system and advocated shedding its dominant role in procurement and distribution of grain. So whatever it is going ahead now, Satya, I will look at it. I will look at your point. I will. In regards to, there should be a food management system which has to be come into place, and this is an agency which it has to work. So a new agency has to come up, that is food management system, and this is very important, and it was told in 2015, that was a recommendation by the Shanta Kumar report of the agency, that is food management system. So now you can also link what we were talking about yesterday in regards to India's disease surveillance system, and now we are talking about food management system. So linking it with the, what do you say, pandemic situation or the post COVID-19 pandemic situation, there is a need for the reboot of India's disease surveillance system. At the same time, in regards to food management system also, there has to be an innovation. So I think now you have understood better how we can go ahead with making sure that we focus both on disease surveillance system and then food management system, and you can also link both of them, and if a question is asked you can write an answer. Disease surveillance system, India's disease surveillance system, and then food management system. In regards to Satya, government should implement some new modern monitoring techniques to control the corruption of PDS and enhance it for the welfare of the poor. Yes, definitely. And government is definitely, that is what the recommendation of the Shanta Kumar report in 2015. Probably it will definitely now post 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 COVID-19. Probably it will definitely look into it. Sir, why they change the name? They should focus on implementation rather than to, because education is the benchmark. Okay, government should make Pradhan Mantri direct. Okay. So why did they change the name? They should focus more on implementation rather than public. It all depends upon the government. We cannot really, what do you say, question it, or we can question it. No, I mean for the discussion point we can say it, but mostly it is because of the government which comes up with its own ideology or its own naming of the few welfare schemes. Also, I need to update the target group data regarding BPL and above BPL to prevent depriving target group. That is what we were talking about. The one who are not reaching or getting the food grains through the PDS system, who are not part of it, they can also be, what do you say, you should definitely have that still a new kind of system for the BPL, below poverty line. And I think this session was very helpful, informative and knowledgeable. And then please go ahead with liking the video, subscribe the video, share the video, and then hit the bell button while you're watching the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel, and then go ahead with subscription for 24 months. And then while you are going ahead with subscription, use my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, and then you can get 10% discount on the entire. So 12, yes, we need to storage food. Okay, Mumtaz Ansari, yeah, storage of food. I mean, that is what procurement of food. Definitely, sir. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, Bharadwaj. Thank you very much. And if you haven't still subscribed it, please go ahead with subscribing for 24 months using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10. Thank you very much. And then see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock, one class, and then 11 o'clock again, one more class. Thank you very much.